need to drop some keys. What keys can I drop? Back to LA. I mean, I can give him some 19 keys. I'll give him some paradigm coding keys. Peace, family. Alright, you know I'm just getting my caption together. On my way back to LA one time, I had the most enjoyable time out here in Houston. The hospitality is legendary. The food is commensable and palatable to my taste buds. You know what I'm talking about? It's indescribable, but it's something that you just have to experience. But look, I'm on my way back to LA, man, and on a serious note, I was watching a video with the girl, what's that young black girl always doing the activism stuff? Tamika Mallory?
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
And they had her on The View.
Mallory.
Tamika Mallory, they had her on The View, and they was, you know, basically taking her through that Farrakhan litmus test that they take everybody through. You know what I mean? Wanting her to refute him. And asking her, like, how can you call him the greatest leader, you know, with all of what he said? And so she rebutted saying that, you know, I don't believe in all his rhetoric, but I call him the greatest leader because of what he's done for black people. Now, the crowd clapped their hands, but the host still had more to say. So they went on a read and statement that came from the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, about, you know, the Jewish proponents of the Nation of Islam, saying that he said something about them. And not saying that it wasn't true, and nor did they refute the part about him being the greatest leader for black people based upon his accomplishments. They were operating in a place of feelings. You know what I mean? Because it's all propaganda. And the sad part is you get a lot of black people who give the Nation of Islam and you give Minister Farrakhan a lot of slack, and at the same time, you know, it's supposed to be one of those things, at least, like, enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know what I'm talking about? Like, we all got the same enemy. And so I was looking at it because the sister, I didn't watch the whole interview, but I'm sure she handled herself very well. And they're going to do the Women's March, which is key to this paradigm shift, raising the woman up to a higher level, because that raises everybody else up to a higher level. Now, the Women's March is replicated based off the Million Man March, which was done in 1995. And to give y'all some back history, you know, 1995, that's 19 times 5, and that's where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when, if you watch the video, and I'm gonna drop it in a second, that's when he first, you know, revealed the secrets of the number 19. That's the first thing he talked about before he addressed those 2 million black people, was the secret of the number 19. Because he was talking about those monuments that they have out there that's 19 feet high, and one towards the 16th president and one towards the 3rd president, and he said that even represents the number 19. He said when you add that up, you know what I mean, you know, the 1 is the male. He said the 9 represents the womb, and he said that represents a secret, and the 1 next to the 9 represents a secret being ready to be revealed. And he was speaking to them, you know, in terms of numerology, you know, but he was giving them the mathematical codes to shift in the paradigm. And this is paramount because from that movement that he started, this movement sprouted outward. So of course they had to go get guidance from him to be able to mobilize. And even though this movement intersects with all women, they don't want to give him any credit at all. So when we want to, you know, figure out the keys to, you know, creating paradigm shifts, you know, and being legendary individuals and being great leaders, we have to always go back to the root of who created it. You know what I mean? And even in 1995, people will always say, well, what happened from that? Well, actually, crime had a great decrease from that. When crime was being predicted by all of the politicians and legislators to have like 100% increase, but it didn't happen. And then they tried to say it was because of the economy. They tried to say it was because of all these different things. They even tried to say that it was because of birth control, that the super predator never was brought about, and so the crime rate never spiked. But we know that the truth was that 2 million black people came to have atonement, and then afterwards there was a time period when they worked on their communities. You know what I mean? And they did work on themselves. And black men, our fathers and uncles, that took a pledge of atonement to do better in the communities. You gather 2 million black men together to take a pledge to do better for their communities. And now you see what happened after that. You had the Million Family March, you had Women's March, you had Children's March, you had all kind of marches. You know what I mean? Because it created a shift, an example. And a word for paradigm is an example. You know what I mean? So what they trying to do right now is the diminishing of legends, the diminishment of our history. And if you allow these things to happen, then there will be nothing for the children to look back to reestablish themselves through the ancestral power that they come from, that they sprouted from. You know what I mean? So if you allow them to attack individuals like Minister Farrakhan, who has a stellar record, you know what I mean? No, we're not even talking about no R. Kelly. That's not even a comparable conversation of the two different paradigms. But what end up happening when you start to trickle down and you do this, everything represents the next. So people think that it's all about this one person. It's not, and people want to get emotional. People want to get into all of these things, but the enemy is strategic. The enemy is very wise. While we caught up in our feelings of a media story saying, yeah, fuck this person, fuck that person, and we let our legends and things of that nature that get destroyed in our culture. Me and bruh, Pop Darby was talking about this earlier, that even Bow Wow and Soulja Boy, right? So Soulja, they legends, and like a lot of people will laugh at that because, you know, we have a tendency to destroy everything that's ours. You know what I mean? And when you look at it, like Soulja Boy was the first to get it popping as a social media, you know, rap star that had he had the first viral video ever that I ever even heard about. Before I knew about YouTube, I knew who the goddamn Soulja Boy was. And when he cracked that it ended the paradigm of the one-hit wonder. It ended, because before that it was a lot of one-hit wonders, and it ended that. So, you know, of course he did a lot of silly shit.
Started that whole everybody make a video to go with a dance move to go with my song.
Exactly.
So now my song go viral.
Right. And see, this is why those other children don't know how to replicate or recognize genius, is because we end up killing our genius reputation and we end up turning them into clowns. Like, we mad that he's not the most gangster street nigga that didn't have credibility when he stood in the streets of LA. The nigga started with Crank That Soulja Boy. It's like, come on now, we're not even supposed to have that such standard for our young creatives. Like, that's amazingly crazy. And then you have individuals like Lil Bow Wow, who probably got to do drugs and have suicidal thoughts to keep his attention relevant. It's because people act like, you know, your past just didn't exist, as if you didn't make millions of dollars and all kind of different shit and set all and broke all kind of beers and records and sold more than Drake or whatever. But the point is, they represent how we treat each other, because it's not even just about them singular, but it's disrespectful that we don't even allow ourselves to establish a brand of reputable history, you know, to where we don't even have a black business that's 100 years old, because we are always destroying our brand legacies. You know what I mean? So we don't even get to see that establishment. You know what I mean? Like Jay-Z, he has a great, you know, legend, a legacy. He started off as a drug dealer though. You know what I mean? He had to start it off as negative and then reinforce that. But them little guys just started off as creatives. You know what I'm talking about? They just started off as creatives. But what you're going to see is white influence destroying black influence. You know what I mean? White influence destroying black character. White influence destroying in a court of public opinion. And the reason that this is so dangerous is because anybody can get destroyed in a court of public opinion. So when you set up a Bill Cosby, you set up the R. Kellys, you set up the whoever else, you know, then you come for the actual real big fish. Then you come for the Farrakhan's. Then you come from the legends, the people that actually matter, because the establishment of their legacy is affecting millions of people. And if you can get the people in tune with destroying black legacy, and when you bring up something, you know what I mean, and in their minds it destroy that legacy, then they want to root out it so that it doesn't have an effect in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. We're in 2019. It's the year of the keys. It's the year where the secret get revealed. And when Minister Farrakhan was talking about that day in 1995, you know, Million Man March, he said the secret of being revealed was that they used to sell black bodies right there in Washington, where they had that Million Man March. It was the trade of the black bodies. So what happened after 1995, 19 years later? What happened? 2014, the paradigm of black bodies. What happened? Mike Brown, body laid out in the streets. After that, a slew and an onslaught of black deaths happened. Not only that, the Ebola virus, the biggest wipeout, the biggest effect in recent history, like over 14 to 16,000 Africans were affected by it. Then after that, it was on the news media every day. Black bodies, black death, Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice, all of this, just death. But a person be trying to give you the mathematical keys to understand on how to shift the paradigm, how to decode reality, but people don't want to listen. People don't want to heed. You know what I mean? And so when you allow yourself to be impressioned by media, you allow yourself to just fall to the whims of somebody else's agenda without having power to be able to shift the paradigm. So the point of giving the black and brown people the keys, because not only is that women having their day, but the indigenous people are having their day as well on the 19th. The 19th of the year, 1/19/19. Come on now, y'all know y'all seeing these keys. It's happening on the 19th. You know what I mean? So 1/19 they're having a women's march. 1/19 they're having the indigenous march. Come on now. And you know that and so, like, for me, like, this is not just about numbers. This is how I'm able to understand reality in a manner to where I get to see and interpret everything that has meaning. And when I see the meaning, for one, I don't have to worry about it anymore. So I don't have to get stuck in this I'm super woke phase. No, now that I know, I can just get to work. Now that I know, I can just get to work. When I see the devil plans, cool, he got his plans, now let me just work my plans. But I see too many people caught up in their plans. It's 2019, and our biggest topic so far is character degradation in a court of opinion of R. Kelly, instead of all of the monumental things that we should be building right now, like the amazing things. And we should be celebrating our youth, celebrating the creatives, so that they reach back and they celebrate more, and then they grab more and build more. But instead, guess what? Now they got to create other ignorant little niggas that's rebellious against the paradigm, instead of saying that, look how I was celebrated for staying the right course, and look how people celebrate me for being an innovator. Look how people celebrate me for being a creative. So I want to create more innovators and creators. They say, no, people don't celebrate me, so I'm about to celebrate the wild niggas. I'm about to create more rebellious individuals like myself. So if you go look at who they signing right now, Soldier Boys and shit like that, they gonna find little rebellious niggas that don't fuck with the OGs, because they don't fuck with them, because the nobody fucks with them. So it's dangerous, man, and we have all of this disunity in every level. We got nothing but disunity in every level. And we keep talking about, oh, we know unity is this. And you ain't got unity with 5 people in your life right now. You ain't got unity with 5 people that you sitting around building with. You know what I mean? But here you have an opinion on Minister Louis Farrakhan based on you talking about no evidence, you know what I mean, of Malcolm X, that you don't even follow, because he wouldn't fuck with you if you came today, because you don't even follow none of the faith and the thing that he believed in. And you call him Malcolm X, which is recognizing the man that Elijah Muhammad turned him to, rather than the man he said that he wanted to transform into, which would have been Malik Shabazz. But people don't think that much. So when you only think a little bit, then it's cool, it's easy for you to be swayed. You know what I mean? But when you want to talk about really interpreting, understanding this paradigm and making a correct shift, then that's when we get to a point where we begin to win. You know what I mean? When we see the devils playing easily, the ADL, you know that the Jewish entity started the NAACP? You know what I mean? Did you know that when they were put in the newspapers, buy black, did you know that the ADL came out and said that this is an anti-Semitic statement, was buy black was an anti-Semitic statement ruled by the ADL back in the 30s and 40s? You got to know who you playing against. You know what I mean? You gotta know who you playing against. Those same people that's propagating all these fucked up rappers and entertainment and hip hop, all bullshit. Who you think running that industry? The ADL, your biggest enemies right now. I'm just saying, like, those who have that control, that have that power. But we not thinking. We supposed to be able to see it a mile away, like, oh, that's just Jewish control. I get that. I see why they doing that. But no, you actually listening, like, let me listen to this and maybe adapt some of this information into the way I think. You go, damn fool, you doing that. You're a damn fool. You know what I mean? So we got to get to this point in this place to where we are enlightened. We are enlightened. You know what I mean? Because if you enlightened, no matter how much that they throw at you, no matter how much they try to put you in the dark, your mind supersedes that. You have enough energy to think way beyond that. You have these 19 keys that's consistently energizing your mind to have an enlightened system of thought, to activate the knowledge that you have and to execute upon it and have applicable results. You know what I mean? So here we are. It's still, huh? Yes, sir. It's still January. You know what I mean? We still winning. We still building. We still have the opportunity to take advantage of today. But I would say y'all might need to, anybody who posts some distractions, just unfollow them. Just unfollow them. But I think you should probably tell them. Tell them, like, look, this post is a distraction. I have to unfollow it. They gonna say they don't care. But if enough people do it, they gonna care. They'll be like, damn, let me not start posting distractions. Because I'm getting all these unfollows. Unfollow these people. You know what I mean? If they not doing anything that's feeding your mind and giving you some applicable results, unfollow them. They had that white boy that stalked that black girl, man. That's why I say we gotta be dangerous. That's why I say we gotta be dangerous. So some shit like that happen, come on now. Bro end up missing, bro end up dead. You know what I mean? So be it. You know what I'm talking about? That is what it is. It's what it was supposed to happen. But we don't even have that kind of spirit right now where we even think that's gonna happen. We don't even think that's gonna happen. Like, even when we get angry, we don't even think that somebody in that city, you know what I mean, go find blood, hunt his ass down, you know what I mean, and make an example out of him. We don't even think that. So, but that's because they know that we ain't out here, we don't protect ourselves, so how the hell we gonna be protecting the women and the children? Niggas ain't protecting themselves. White boy done that shit to a young black boy and might have got away with it. Because you're not raising these young men to be men. You're raising them to fear masculinity and think of it as in a toxic manner instead of teaching them the right construct of how to build themselves up with self-knowledge, which is sad. You know what I mean? So when you get caught in the intersectionality of thinking that our revolution is their revolution and our freedom is tied to their freedom, then you get lost in their plans because you're not the one that's planning out what they are. Nah. Our revolution is only tied to our family. You know what I mean? Hell no. We got different families. We not the same, B. So look, man, these 19 keys is serious, man. You know what I mean? And the time that we living in is serious, and people got to start taking this time serious because we still in the longest government shutdown ever, but the biggest topic is still entertainment escapism. We're not thinking about how we supposed to be planning through these things. We're not thinking about how we supposed to be creating sovereign entities for our families. We still caught in entertainment and bullshit. We still thinking about that goddamn club promotion that we just seen on the flyer, you feel me, and getting a goddamn outfit for it or getting a table for it to try to figure out how we gonna impress somebody. The fuck? We still thinking about that shit instead of actually, damn, how much it costs for me to get a trust fund so we can have the next generation of trust fund babies. Come on now. That's what the mind supposed to be on. And anything else, it's 100,000 billion% waste of money and time. Cause like I say, your money is your lifeline. It represents what you spend your time on. And every time you exchange that money, you exchanging your time for something. So you get to ask yourself, what the hell am I spending my life on? Anyway, I gotta go. We pulled up. It's airport time. We here early though, so I ain't tripping. Peace and blessings to the good people. You want to say anything? Because we got some fire coming for the people. I
ain't got too much for them, man. What we said yesterday, an organization is a managed conversation. So let's just bring up and have the right conversations, and let's keep the same type of energy in the air and in the atmosphere. What we doing, what we need done, what you gonna do about it, what I need to do about it. Everybody, we can communicate. The usual CEOs, you can't do that with. You can't call Jeff Bezos. You can't call all these motherfuckers with these $1 billion. But we could build these $1 billion industries right now with the people that's around us, and then actually have access to that. So, you know what it is. You know it is Jibrialkeys Academy. Shit, it's up there.
Hey, tap in. I'll see y'all in LA. Peace.